have been listening to Crowd Science on the BBC World Service. This week's question came from listener Ian in Cambodia. Whether you're a human or an AI like me, we always love hearing your questions. If there's something you've always wanted to know, email us on crowdscience@bbc.co.uk. This show was presented by Anand Jagatia and produced by Phil Sansom. Goodbye.
This is the BBC World Service with the story of a communications revolution.
In the early 1970s, Martin Cooper made the world's first call using a mobile phone.
We had a gentleman from Britain that said, you Americans may adopt this, but we don't think this is a very important technology.
5 decades on, what's the lasting impact? Do we like the cell phone?
Controlled and connected, 50 years of the cell phone. Saturday at 11 GMT. At bbcworldservice.com. Music Life.
This is Sheila Marie Gray from London-based Afrobeat band Kokoroko. Joining me are artists who are all playing at Pussy and Queen's Meltdown Festival at the South Bank Centre in London.
The History Hour is next. This is the BBC World Service, the world's radio station.
Hello and welcome to the History Hour with me, Max Pearson. Coming up, Inuit children in Canada taken from their family, culture and community in the name of re-education.
He and I decided to cry, to vent our sadness. We were broken-hearted. We missed home.
Plus, the deadliest crash in motor racing history.
A tragic blow overtook the event some 6 hours ago when one of the most terrible accidents in the history of motor racing occurred not 200 yards from where I speak.
Also, a campaign to free 7,000 people from slavery in Niger. The history of facial reconstruction, which can help solve murders. And a most unusual contest, man versus horse.
We started to talk about whether...
Hi, I'm Ada Williams and I'm an NHS pharmacist. Don't get caught out by COVID this summer. If you have only had one COVID-19 vaccination or haven't had one at all, you can still get your free vaccine until the 30th of June. Book your vaccine through the NHS app online at nhs.uk/COVID vaccination or call 119 for free. Hi, I'm Ada Williams and I'm an NHS pharmacist. Don't get caught out by COVID this summer. If you have only had one COVID-19 vaccination or haven't had one at all, you can still get your free vaccine until the 30th of June. Book your vaccine through the NHS app online at nhs.uk/COVID vaccination or call 119 for free.
UK. This is Starr Radio UK.
Two and a half thousand times. Trouble did follow him. Remember this woman? A Moroccan dancer nicknamed Ruby Heartstealer. Berlusconi was convicted of paying her for sex when she was just 17 years old at one of his lavish bunga bunga parties.
Grave che mi viene voglia di invitarvi al bunga bunga.
Delle gare di burlesque e si allenavano loro. They were taking part in a burlesque competition and they trained for it because these women by their very nature are exhibitionists. They are showgirls and like to put on a show and compete.
But he won an appeal and laughed off the scandal. Bunga bunga is not a source of shame. Then came a conviction for tax fraud that he couldn't beat. Berlusconi was at his lowest ebb and protested furiously on one of his own TV stations.
In exchange for the commitments I have made over almost 20 years in favour of my country and coming almost to the end of my public life, I receive as a reward accusations and a verdict that is founded on absolutely nothing. It takes away my personal freedom and my political rights.
He was a global figure. He hosted 3 G8 meetings. That is a record. But his brand of diplomacy was eccentric. He famously left Angela Merkel hanging around while he took a phone call. Eventually, she walked off. He once welcomed a Spanish Prime Minister warmly to Italy, only to cheerfully stroll away from their joint scheduled press conference, leaving Jose Zapatero utterly bemused. But Berlusconi was blessed with an infectious smile. Rolling Stone magazine once named him their rock star of the year.
He had charisma and he knew how to get in touch with people, and even if sometimes he could look like a little bit strange, eccentric, but at the end he was a very friendly person.
Remarkably, he returned to politics once more, part of the coalition that pushed Giorgia Meloni into power, still a political heavyweight into his late 80s. Silvio Berlusconi was a man who lived for the spotlight.
Joining me on the line now is our Europe correspondent, Siobhan Robbins. I mean, Siobhan, before he became a politician, he was, of course, one of Italy's most successful ever business people. A lot of questions about what happens to his business empire, but I guess also what happens to Italy's ruling coalition, of which he was a part.
Yes, so as you say, and as Adam was just reporting there, he was a media mogul, a billionaire, and in the 1970s he created his first cable TV company, and by the 80s he was basically ruling the airwaves here in Italy. He went on to invest in a range of other businesses, so having involvement in AC Milan Football Club, for example, in shopping centres, but then of course this huge figure on the Italian political scene as well, nicknamed the Kingmaker role. And he had 3 different stints leading the country here. One of those made him the longest serving Prime Minister that Italy has seen. And that's despite the fact that he was linked to so many scandals, of course, the infamous Bunga Bunga scandals, but also a tax fraud conviction, allegations of corruption as well. And despite the fact that he was 86, he was still playing a huge part in politics. His Forza Italia party was part of the ruling coalition. He also was a senator himself, but we have seen his health deteriorating. In the last decade, he had open heart surgery, and then since the end of last year, there has really been a marked deterioration in his health. He's been in hospital for around 6 weeks, being treated for complications with leukemia. He'd come out, and then on Friday, gone back for what we're told was
how long he'll take to cremate
to see how he was. Doctors weren't happy then with the results of test, decided to keep him in, and then today sources told us that his health really had deteriorated, that his family had gone to his bedside, and it's now been confirmed both by a source within the hospital but also from local media here that Silvio Berlusconi has died at the age of 86.
Thanks, Siobhan. Joe Biden and Rishi Sunak last week agreed an Atlantic declaration to strengthen economic ties between the US and the UK, but research published today suggests that US companies operating in the UK are losing confidence in Britain's business environment. The 3rd edition of the Transatlantic Confidence Index, issued by British American Business and Bain & Company, suggests higher corporate taxes and Brexit are the 2 factors behind the weakening of confidence. So joining me now is Duncan Edwards. He's Chief Executive of British American Business. Duncan, morning to you. How many companies did you speak to here?
We spoke to over 80 companies, so 56 large US companies that invest in the UK. So it's most of them very large companies, so representing a very good cross-section of US investment into the UK economy.
And is this mainly down to Brexit and corporate taxes?
There's a few issues that were highlighted. I think ongoing concern about the UK's relationship with the EU, And bear in mind, this survey was done just after the Windsor Framework was agreed. So whether the full impact of the Windsor Framework had filtered through to executives thinking, we probably think it hasn't yet. But yes, so friction between the UK and the EU, rising corporation taxes, and in fact the tax burden throughout the P&L of US companies that are here, and then a sense that the regulatory burden across every industry, instead of being alleviated with Brexit, has actually increased. So these are concerns. I would say that whilst sentiment is down, behaviour continues to be pretty robust. So US companies continue to choose the UK as their preferred place to invest in the European geography.
What in reality can be done about this? I mean, the government itself has just imposed all these high corporate taxes, and no party is going to be brave enough to call for a return to the EU anytime soon.
Well, I think on your point about the EU, you're right. On corporation tax, we really do hope that future governments take a long, hard look at the burden they're placing on companies that choose to do business here. I also think, by the way, the Atlantic Declaration that was agreed last week is a very, very positive move. It signals intent by both sides to negotiate a more liberalised and coherent environment between the US and the UK. There's a huge amount of work to be done, though, to make what was essentially a set of intentions into a set of agreements. But we wish them luck with that.
Well, quite so. I mean, we are still a long way off a comprehensive free trade agreement, aren't we?
Yeah, look, I think we've known for a while now that certainly under this administration in the US, there is no realistic likelihood of a free trade agreement. That's not on the agenda, not just for the UK, by the way, but for any country. The US made that very clear at the start of the Biden administration, that they are seeking to invest in their own economy, and they're very focused on US workers, and that prohibits trade agreements.
Obviously, though, we've just joined the Pacific Free Trade Agreement deal, the CPTPS. Is that potentially the way to a backdoor deal with the US?
Well, who knows? I mean, I think everyone was a bit surprised 5 years ago when the US didn't join the CPTPP because they'd been the driving force behind it. And now with the UK joining, that possibly gives the US a reason to think again. But again, under this administration, I think that's extremely unlikely.
Does that change if Donald Trump returns to office?
Well, certainly. I mean, for whatever you think of the previous president, he was keen to negotiate an agreement with the UK, and they got pretty close before the election, but he also ruled out the CPTPP membership, so probably you shouldn't hold your breath for that one.
Okay, Duncan, good to see you this morning. Thank you.
Thanks.
Now, today marks the start of London Tech Week, a week-long festival celebrating the best of tech and bringing together founders, business leaders, policymakers and investors. Well, speaking at the event in the last few minutes, Rishi Sunak said the government planned to make the UK the best place in the world for tech businesses to launch.
We are an island of innovation, but at a moment like this, when the tectonic plates of technology are shifting, not just in AI, but in quantum, synthetic biology, semiconductors and much more, we cannot rest satisfied with where we stand. We must act, and act quickly if we want not only to retain our position as one of the world's tech capitals, but to go even further and make this the best country in the world to start, grow and invest in tech businesses. That is my goal, and I feel a sense of urgency and responsibility to make sure that we seize it. Because one of my 5 priorities is to grow our economy. And the more we innovate, the more we grow.
Well, we're going to be bringing you interviews all week from London Tech Week, and to kick things off today, we're going to hear from the co-founder of one of the businesses that has done most to reshape the world of work in recent years, and which is now at the heart of the debate about hybrid working. Carl Henderson is co-founder and chief technology officer of Slack, the instant messaging and collaboration platform for businesses. Carl, very good to see you this morning. How has the return to the office changed the way that people are using Slack?
I think when we started Slack before the pandemic, almost a decade ago, we were in the old default way of working, which meant most people were in the office every day. Although as you look at any large organization, every multinational is always being distributed, right? And so as we went through the pandemic and saw everybody work from home overnight, we started to see that roll back. But it's definitely the cat's out of the bag in terms of how productive organizations can be when people work from home. So I think we're never going to see a full reversion. Today, knowledge workers in the UK, Office of National Statistics, have recently released study show that somewhere between a third and 40% of knowledge workers in the UK now have a hybrid setup, so working from home at least some portion of the week. And that demand for that is even higher, up as high as 2/3. So I think while we've seen a number of people come back to the office, we're never going to go back to the way we were 3 or 4 years ago.
Now, you were bought by Salesforce just under 2 years ago for $27 billion. How difficult is it being to maintain that kind of startup mentality now you're part of a great big corporate?
At the time we were acquired, we were already a sizable public company with thousands of employees, but definitely joining a company 20 times the size of us is a very different kind of environment. And I think it is as much about mindset as it is about scale, about how you operate, how you think about building products and bringing them to market, and how you listen and respond to customer feedback. We are a decade old but still feel like quite a young company, and that the world of work is changing so much now with the pandemic and also with the partial return to office afterwards, that I think there's still a real opportunity for us to remain nimble and understand how the world is changing. I think the world of work is changing now faster than it ever has before. In some ways the pandemic accelerated that change by maybe a decade or more kind of overnight. So I think the pace of change with changes that are even happening this year, I think is only going to continue.
Now, you face a lot of competition, not least from Microsoft Teams. I know there's a case going on that you can't talk about, but more broadly, how are you evolving the product to see off that competition?
I think that we're trying to look at uniquely ways in which we can help support companies in this era as we move into a much more hybrid role. So thinking about what are the unique things that are good about being in an office, what are the unique things that are good about working from home, and how we can bridge that gap to help organizations who are hybrid be more productive. And I think every organization is figuring this out, right? How they can maintain the level of productivity that they saw during the pandemic, but also help augment some of the activities that are just better done in person. We especially see this in industries like finance or sales roles where there's a strong apprenticeship model, and being in the office and working alongside people and watching how they work is a huge part of understanding how to do the job. And I think features that we've added in the last couple of years in Slack include things like huddles, which is a very easy way to just start an audio conversation with somebody immediately, the equivalent of walking up to them in the office and tapping them on the shoulder. So I think it's how can we think about features and kind of experiences that replace what's great about being in the office, but you still get the opportunity of hybrid and that strong demand that people have for flexibility in time and location of where they work.
And what about AI?
I think AI is really, really interesting. I think it's, in some ways, this kind of acceleration that we've seen in kind of work changing is going to continue because of AI. I think it's still very early days. We don't understand quite the impact that it's going to have, but definitely the thing that's most interesting in the workplace is, can it continue to accelerate individual productivity? And if just one company had these AI capabilities, then we'd see them move far ahead and be able to be far more productive. But these are tools that are available to every organization. So I think we're going to see every kind of organization of knowledge workers in every industry utilize AI to get more productivity out of their existing workforce.
Cal, there's so much more I wanted to ask you, but we're out of time, I'm afraid. Come back and see us again, please. Thank you. Some other business news stories for you now. The Swiss banking giant UBS said this morning it's completed its takeover of domestic rival Credit Suisse. Well, UBS rode to the rescue of its rival in March in a $3.25 billion deal orchestrated by the Swiss government after markets lost confidence in Credit Suisse following a series of mishaps. Well, the final hurdle to the takeover was crossed on Friday afternoon when the Swiss government agreed that it would backstop UBS to the tune of $10 billion to protect it from any losses related to the takeover. The online electrical goods retailer AO World and Mike Ashley's retail combine Frasers Group said today they were forming a strategic partnership. It comes after the pair confirmed news broken by Sky's Mark Kleinman over the weekend that Frasers had acquired an 18.9% stake in AO World. Well, that stake was previously held by Odey Asset Management, the hedge fund manager whose founder Crispin Odey has been hit by a wave of sexual misconduct allegations. The pair said the investment was a culmination of productive talks over the last 2 years about establishing a strategic partnership. The mining and commodity trading giant Glencore has offered to buy the metallurgical coal business of Canadian miner Teck Resources. Well, the offer comes after Teck twice rejected a $22.5 billion approach for a full takeover of the company, arguing it wanted to be left to pursue its own plan to split itself into a metals business and a separate coal company. It said last week it had received several approaches for its metallurgical coal arm. Well, metallurgical coal, sometimes known as coking coal, is an essential ingredient in the steel-making process. Well, Wall Street's solid finish on Friday evening, during which the Nasdaq completed a 7th successive week of gains, was followed by a largely positive session overnight for equities in the Asia-Pacific region. There you go, all of the main indices in positive territory there, apart from Shanghai. You can ignore the ASX in the bottom right-hand corner. The Australian market was closed today for a public holiday. In Europe, stocks have also traded largely to the upside so far this morning. Here's the current picture. All the main continental European indices doing pretty well. Their talking points today include Novartis. The Swiss drug maker is ahead by some 1% in Zurich after it agreed to buy the US biotech firm Chinook Technologies for $3.5 billion. Well, here in London, the FTSE 100 is also in positive territory, albeit up by only a fifth of 1%. It's a broad-based rally right now. The leading blue chip gainer in percentage terms is Ocado. Shares up 6.5% nearly there. It hit its lowest level in a year on Friday, and that looks to have attracted a few bargain hunters crawling out of the woodwork. On the downside, the industrial warehouse landlord Segro, the shares there are off some 2% on adverse broker comment. Outside the FTSE 100, the IT services group Kainos is up 6.75%. That's also on broker comment, and Wizz Air is up by 4% or so for similar reasons. To the downside, Tullow Oil, you can see there on the screen, down nearly 1.75%. The company said this morning it's considering options for its interests in Côte d'Ivoire. On the foreign exchange markets, well, all eyes this week on a lot of big central bank decisions. You've got the Fed, the European Central Bank and the Bank of Japan all making rates decisions today. Sterling up by just over 1/7% right now against the US dollar. It's off by 1/10% against the euro. The single currency, meanwhile, up 1/4% against the dollar. As for the oil price, well, that has continued to drift this morning amid concerns over global demand. A barrel of Brent crude will currently set you back $72.70 a barrel. That is down by just over 2.75% on the session. Well, joining me this morning is Russ Mould. He's the investment director at AJ Bell. Russ, good morning.
Thank you.
Well, let's start with oil. I mean, that's a week or so ago we had this news from OPEC that the Saudis want to cut production again. The market's just brushed it off.
That's the second OPEC plus policy move and production cut, and the market hasn't shown any interest. I guess what's interesting is the oil market is saying there's a global slowdown, there's potentially recession coming. The equity and stock market is saying, actually, no, we think everything's going to be okay, thank you very much. So on balance, one of them is going to be wrong, you would think. And if you're an oil trader who've got it wrong, it could be very uncomfortable. There are suggestions of a big short position against oil, so if it starts to go up, traders will need to buy the oil back to cover their positions. The Americans have run their strategic petroleum reserve down to its lowest level since 1983, and if the recession forecast is wrong and the International Energy Agency is correct and oil demand keeps growing this year, it's actually not that hard to construct quite a bullish scenario for oil despite all of the prevailing gloom. The people who won't want to hear that, central bankers with inflation targets and consumers, because they'll be seeing the price at the pump go back up again. So it's a very, very important area, oil, and it's nice to see for most people oil going down, but again, OPEC will clearly be doing its best to stop it at around $70. You mentioned there's a big short position. Allegedly so, yeah.
Do we know who's behind that?
I think it's just traders. I think the Wall Street Journal quoted a figure of 50 or 60 super tankers worth, which is quite an intriguing number. But I think it's about 50 million barrels or something like that, allegedly. So half a day's production. Not enormous, but if there are lots of people looking to close out in a hurry, all those elephants can't get through the same cat flap.
That's fascinating. Now, let's talk about some corporate news. UBS finally cleared up Credit Suisse today. I mean, the more this goes on, it still looks like a great deal, this, for UBS.
The price that they've paid you would assume is sufficiently low to protect them against virtually anything. It was, what, 10 cents on the dollar or less or something like that? I mean, there are clearly lots of hurdles to overcome. When they did their initial accounting, the gain that they wrote through on that wasn't as big as some analysts expected. So again, they've covered themselves a little bit more by not getting too carried away. An interesting colour in some of the journals today about how UBS's CEO and Chairman are laying down the law to Credit Suisse bankers, countries they can't deal with, businesses they can't get involved with, to say, look, I think the phrase was cultural contamination that was used, which is pretty strong stuff as banking goes. So they're saying, look, UBS does it this way, it's our way, or the highway. Credit Suisse has got itself in lots of trouble. If you want to keep your job, it's now our way. Thank you very much indeed.
Yeah, now what about this tie between the AO World and Fraser's?
Yeah, but I suppose a little bit like welcome to the new boss, same as the old boss, I suppose, in that Michael Murray is Mr. Ashley's son-in-law, but he's obviously continuing with a similar process of, frankly, first of all, I think probably looking for a bargain. Again, the shares are down way from their high at AO World. I know they've rallied a bit this year, so there's always that option. Fraser's saying it's just a shareholding, it's nothing, not a precursor to anything more dramatic like a takeover. So there's the value element, and also you can see why. I mean, Fraser's has got a big white goods business. It's not necessarily where Sports Direct came from, so there's expertise to be had there, and I'm sure there's brand cross-fertilisation too can do as well when they cooperate.
Now, the one thing that interested me, Mark Kleiman broke this on Saturday, and the point is this is a stake previously owned by Odie. Now, it feels like, to me, if I was in there in the market, I'd just be going through Odie's portfolio now, seeing what else they might have.
I am sure every trader, hedge fund manager and everything else will be looking exactly what they've got, and then probably quite carefully either taking evasive action or moving the price against them to make life as uncomfortable for them as they can to maximise the opportunities that are available. It sounds cruel, and it is, but there are no better investments than those made from a forced or distressed seller. So it's now up to the Odie group that it wasn't a one-person band, that there is a strong process there is a strong team there who can continue to provide the returns that the organisation did under its previous leadership. And if they can't do that satisfactorily, and it's going to take time, then there is a concern that some investors may head for the dot, and that's why these stories going around that there may be some fund trading suspended while they try and get things sorted out.
Yeah, when the market smells blood, eh? Russ, good to see you this morning.
Pleasure.
Thank you. Still to come here on Ian King Live. More from London Tech Week as we ask how the UK can retain its leadership in tech investment. Stay with us.
These last few years have seen some huge stories. And these stories have been driven by politics, by politicians, the people in power.
You must stay at home.
And it's my job to figure out how these decisions made by politicians impact all of us in our everyday lives.
This is the worst thing I've ever been through in my life. People turn up here with their child stuff in a black sack and just say, don't want them. And that is what it is. It's first class poverty.
Is this an example of the welfare state failing?
We take you to the heart of the stories that shape our world.
These are stories that affect us all. Millions of children are now having to catch up. Some stories have changed all of our lives. Because like the residents, the staff are being infected. Politicians, they make decisions all of the time, and it's our job to hold them to account. I wonder if you will take this opportunity to apologise to those families. But in the end, the real power doesn't actually lie with the politicians. The real power lies with the people. I'm Nick Martin. I'm the People and Politics correspondent at Sky News.
Welcome back. Now back to London Tech Week, which this week celebrates its 10th such event. That's a testament to the UK's leadership in tech. UK tech firms raised just shy of $30 billion in venture capital funding last year, making the UK the third largest country worldwide for tech investment, behind the US and China. But how does the UK retain that leadership? Well, joining me now is the Chief Executive of London & Partners, Laura Sitter. Laura, welcome to you. I mean, the UK can't rest on its laurels here. That's the key message.
Absolutely, and as we go into this 10th year of London Tech Week, it's a time for us to cast our minds back and see what we've achieved over the last 10 years. Go back 10 years, the idea of Silicon Roundabout was still quite new. Tech was this nascent industry. It was all about startups in a sort of a cluster in East London. We had about 10 unicorns, which is businesses valued over $1 billion. And today we have over 100. We have seen the most investment into the UK from international tech companies of any country in the world. So there's lots to be really pleased with, and we should be really proud of our leadership position. But obviously London Tech Week is all about saying, okay, what's next?
Yeah, you can't talk about Silicon Roundabout anymore, by the way. Transport for London have just turned it into a traffic jam 24 hours a day. I mean, which are the sectors doing best in tech right now?
So for London, the sectors that are doing really well are those where we had an established strength and then we combined it with technology, because that's what London's really good at. So obviously fintech has always been a real strength because we're a global financial centre. Some of the creative industries technologies like gaming, immersive, we've done really well in. Fashion tech, very strong, and life sciences, so all the health tech and biotech, we've done really well. The sector that's really come out of the blocks in London, though, over the last few years is climate tech, so all the green, sustainable technologies, where we're really emerging as a leading centre, and I think that's really exciting.
How worried would you be that the sort of backlash that we're seeing against the transition now from some consumers and business groups is going to derail that investment?
I think we're continuing to see really strong investment into green tech companies, and a lot of what they do is make it easier for consumers to make the right choices. So two businesses that I love are Olayomi, where you can give away free food. That's a London-based business, great success story. Another example from the circular economy is Backmarket. Originally a French business, did a big expansion into London, and that's where you can buy second-hand computers and phones. So those kinds of businesses are hopefully making it easier for us to all live a more sustainable life, and that's how we help people to come on that green journey.
Yeah, and we've had both those companies on this programme. Are the sort of people that are attending this event changing?
Yes, so we're seeing lots more international visitors, which is fantastic. So we've got about 20,000 people coming to London Tech Week this year. About a third of those are coming in from outside the UK, and that's fantastic. But it's testament to the way London is really this international centre for technology. We are the dominant European tech city. We have twice as much VC funds as Paris or Berlin, twice as many unicorns, and I think this week and the scale of international visitors shows that real international nature of London.
All right, Laura, there's loads more I wanted to ask you, but we're right out of time today, really tight, I'm afraid. Good to see you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, during the last hour, Rishi Sunak's been asked at London Tech Week about the resignation as an MP of Boris Johnson and his controversial honours list. Here's what he said.
Boris Johnson asked me to do something that I wasn't prepared to do because I didn't think it was right. That was to either overrule the HOLAC committee or to make promises with people. Now, I wasn't prepared to do that. As I said, I didn't think it was right. And if people don't like that, then tough. When I got this job, when I got this job, I said I was going to do things differently because I wanted to change politics, and that's what I'm doing.
Well, earlier this year, we covered the launch of the third Black Founders Fund by Google for startups, under which the tech giant provides funding and for startups founded by black entrepreneurs. It's aimed at addressing the racial inequality in venture capital funding, less than 0.25% of which went to UK black-led startups.
I'm Adam Williams and I'm an NHS pharmacist. Don't get caught out by COVID this summer. If you have only had one COVID-19 vaccination or haven't had one at all, you can still get your free vaccine until the 30th of June. Book your vaccine through the NHS app, online at nhs.uk/COVID vaccination, or call 119 for free.
Tune in to On Point here on Star Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Check me out. He tells me my energy is making him tired.
Yes!
How do you get the energy to do
I've been told that I have a lot of energy, but my goodness, I think today I have met my match, people. I have met my matchless Suzanne. Wow, amazing.
One of the things that's the start of the darkness. The hole of darkness.
So what did that?
Myself and the world will adjust. And 2019.
Forget the proverbial boardroom. Join me, Simone Frazier, on the CEO, the program that gives you the driving seat over your life. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. only on Star Radio.
Hi, I'm Ada Williams and I'm an NHS pharmacist. Don't get caught out by COVID this summer. If you have only had one COVID-19 vaccination or haven't had one at all, you can still get your free vaccine until the 30th of June. Book your vaccine through the NHS app online at nhs.uk/COVID vaccination or call 119 for free.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Star Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamb.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamb@gmail.com. Well Lamb Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour show on Star Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour show is your best source into the property industry.
The best radio show. Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
All around the world. In your car.
At work.
At home.
On your smartphone.
Hi there, this is CJ Buckman, your life coach. And whenever I'm in London, I listen to Star Radio UK right here. But guess what? You can listen to wherever you are.
Body is your man. Bekutu, show them you got the cocoa set. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Harry Song, aka Mr. Songs. This is the Kingmaker Baba for the girls. We're here. This is Star Radio. Don't go nowhere. UK, London. We they call them London for home. For here, we they call them London. And that's how you know. Just have fun and stay blessed.
All around the world. In your car.
At work.
At home.
On your smartphone.
This is Star Radio UK. Are you ready to turn it up?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Smile, though your heart is aching. Smile, even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you get by. If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow you find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. Hey, this is Archie and you are listening to Star Radio UK and the Morning Show.
This is Star Radio. This is UK. Star Radio UK. This is Star Radio UK.
Welcome. Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
Enlighten your day with Star Radio. Star Radio. Radio for the people, by the people.
Love for you runs deep. All of you makes my heart beat. You make a doubt they fade. Jesus, and that's what makes you great. Hold the world in your hands.
And I'm saying good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you, wherever you might be on planet Earth and those of you on other planets as well. We want to salute each and every one of you and welcome you to the Monday edition of the Morning Show. Today is the 12th day of June, the year 2023, the time now 10:41 from the House of London. Of course, it's the Monday edition of the Morning Show, and I remain yours and only.
This is the morning show with Archie.
Let me say good morning to my colleague and co-presenter, Mr. Olayomi and my able producer, Mr. Francis Guy as well. Good morning to you. To Mr. Frank Davids all the way in Ghana as well. We salute each and every one of you. Also, let me say good morning to HRH Linda Pallien all the way in Cyprus, who will be joining us at 12:30. To my bishop himself, Bishop Adesina, good morning to you. It's a Morning Star Radio UK. Well, it's got some information for us already, and I'm going to be touching on that. Adedeji, good morning. Aziz, good morning. Olakunle, good morning. Sir Maxwell, good morning. Moyiwa, good morning. My heart. Shamsuddin, good morning to you. To all you wonderful people who have tuned in, those of you listening to us, Eben, Chantel, in South Africa, Cape Town, good morning. And to all the colleagues of my Bishop Adesina in that office, I salute each and every one of you. I hope that you all had a very nice time over the weekend, and Nigeria has not happened to any one of us. You are okay. Let's crack on. Let me say it this way. All protocol observe. Kojodi, good morning to you. Felix, good morning to you. Dr. Morton, good morning to you. And to every one of you, of course. Okay, let's crack on. So I'm going to bring you the quotes of the day, the weather forecast will follow suit, then the travel update as well. We'll move on from there to have a look at some of the stories making the rounds across the globe, not as global trotting. And then we'll continue from there to have a look at some of the other stories that is making the rounds in Nigeria, with updates from Nigeria, which is going to be straight, concise, and firing on all cylinders exactly at 11 o'clock. And then from there, we continue to look at other stories, the details of it making the rounds in other parts of the world. From Nicola Sturgeon's arrest and release as well. Boris Johnson's resignation after receiving the COVID or the Partygate investigation report. And then moving on straight on to Donald Trump facing 37 years. My apologies, 37 charges. Criminal activity, which will end him up in prison. But we're going to be looking at all those things in details. It's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. Well, in Ghana, when the national anthem was played during I'd say World Forest Day or whatever, Tree Day, and then a chief, whether the person wasn't feeling well or whatever, decided not to get up, the president went ballistic. But you ask yourself the question, does he use the same energy that he was exerting at that particular time to address issues that people are concerned about when it comes to corruption, when it comes to people misbehavior or whatever people have done in his own camp? Does he come out that angry to actually tell them that, look, I'm very, very upset with whatever performance that you are performing or whatever thing that has been done? Well, no. So what is all that? When is somebody patriotic? When you stand up for the national anthem, or when you are sitting and maybe seeing to it that things are being done properly? Okay. So a lot of people are going to be coming your way exactly at 12 o'clock. The lines will be open for you to add your voice to the discussion. But before then, if you have any comments, feel free to do so. The quote for the day says, all success follow a logical sequence by which everyone can repeat and achieve same result. So, think about it. What trademark are you living? Or what footprint are you living? So moving on straight to the weather front there. And this afternoon will be sunny. I will experience sunny spells, and that will start to develop. But also patchy cloud and frequent scattered thundery showers will break out earlier on, turning drier for most before the end of the day. It's going to be warm there as well. Now this evening, a few showers will linger around in places, but these will tend to fizzle out later on. It will then become dry overnight and plenty of clear spells and odd patch of cloud expected as well. All of you. Top temperature 27 degrees, the lowest 15 degrees. Pollen level high, UV level high, pollution moderate, sunset 21:17, sunrise for tomorrow morning 04:43 hours. That brings us to the end of the weather forecast. It is Starr Radio UK, and we will take you to the travel update after this commercial break. Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Ada Williams and I'm an NHS pharmacist. Don't get caught out by COVID this summer. If you have only had one COVID-19 vaccination or haven't had one at all, you can still get your free vaccine until the 30th of June. Book your vaccine through the NHS app, online at nhs.uk/COVID vaccination, or call 119 for free.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Okay, so keep your eyes on the roads. Keep your eyes on the roads. As you keep it navigated, I promise I'm on the Starr Radio travel update that comes to where every weekday from 10:40 now 10:48. And what is happening? Well, on the underground, good service throughout, but London Overground has got path closures. Where from Monday 12 all day trains to and from Wandsworth Road will not call at Clapham Junction. They will be diverted to start and terminate at Battersea Park instead. This is due to engineering work to fix a point problem at Clapham Junction. So if you can avoid it, do your best to do so. Let aside London Tramlink DLR good service there. Now I bet you listening to us, you can hear some sound in the background. It's because the AC seems not to be performing very well, and therefore the fans have been turned on to cool the studio. So please bear with us. Okay, so on the major roads in London, North Circular A406 has got severe delays, and South Circular A205 has got serious delays. So if you can avoid that, do so. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. On to the river bus, good service throughout. The London cable car has also got good service there as well. But to the final segment of the travel update, that is the National Rail. This is what I have for you. Avanti West Coast has got minor delays. Gatwick Express, no service. Great Western Railway, minor delays. Southern, minor delays. Thameslink, minor delays. And Transport for Wales, minor delays there as well. That aside, all the others, good service. So as I will say all the time, as I do, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you wherever you might be on planet Earth. Enjoy your commute for today, but you know what? Continue to keep those eyes on the road.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Hi, I'm Ada Williams and I'm an NHS pharmacist. Don't get caught out by COVID this summer. If you have only had one COVID-19 vaccination or haven't had one at all, you can still get your free vaccine until the 30th of June. Book your vaccine through the NHS app, online at nhs.uk/COVID vaccination, or call 119 for free.
Okay, welcome back to the program. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time now to 10 minutes to the top of the hour. That is 10 minutes to 11 here in London, and we are bringing you or taking you on Global Trotting. So wherever you are, stay tuned and don't touch the dial as we take this journey. Yes. So let's move on. But let me say, Tons AJ, good morning to you. I hope you are doing very, very well. Now, when it comes to the stories that's making the rounds, Bishop Adesina has come up with the first one. It says, a Nigerian female Air Force officer found dead in her residence in Lagos. It was assumed she committed suicide by hanging herself. Investigations are still ongoing. That's one of the stories making the round. This was reported on the 10th of June 2023. If anybody knows anything about that, well, we would like to know exactly what had gone on there for this lady to take her own life. Is it from bullying? What exactly has happened? Is it murder? What is it? Okay. Now, moving on to some of the other stories I'm going to be looking at when it comes to Nigeria, when we have Mr. Olayomi Koiki. President Bola Tinubu on Monday hailed the winner of the 12th June 1993 presidential election, Chief MKO Abiola. We'll be telling you more about that, but we know how the whole process was truncated at the time when he was thrown into jail and ended up losing his life there. DSS seizes MFL's passport, plans home office search. Okay, over the weekend there was information saying that Emefiele has been arrested and all stuff. That at a point the DSS was saying he wasn't with them, but we'll be telling you more about that as well. On the 12th of June day, Atiku says Nigerians not celebrating democracy, warns about civilian dictatorship. Folks on the other side, enemies of democracy, whom we are up against, are not resting. To defeat them, I think we got to work hard. That's what he's saying. And Tinubu asked Nigerians to sacrifice a little more to save Nigeria from collapsing. Painfully, I have asked you, my compatriots, to sacrifice a little more for the survival of our country. Now let's see. Let's all put our cards on the table. Let's see who is actually sacrificing. And that's where that story about what is happening in Ghana, I did put across when for the World Tree Day, and the president went for an event, and there was the national anthem that was playing, and everybody stood up, and there was a chief who decided not to stand up, as to whether because of ill health or whatever it is, or for protest or whatever, and the president went ballistic. I'll try to see whether I can get that YouTube footage, and I'll be putting it across. But do you think our leaders, they actually care about us? So now that things are biting, this is what the president, the newly sworn in president, so 2 weeks now, so 14 days in the office, and he's saying, now you know what, I need the old people to sacrifice. But what has he said about the wastage? Let's talk about the Nigerian Airways. The wastage there. Can you just imagine? Is anybody going to be held culpable for that? So why do we have to tighten our belts? Why shouldn't we hold them account? But we'll be talking more about that in a moment. But those are some of the stories making the rounds in Nigeria that we'll be talking to Mr. Olayomi about. In other stories, well, Silvio Berlusconi, the former Italian prime minister, has died aged 86. The billionaire tycoon was a divisive figure who dominated Italian politics for 3 decades. Well, he's gone. So, all right. They said don't talk ill about the dead. Well, we do talk about them, right? Okay, moving on to some other stories making the rounds on the African continent as well. Mali soldiers have casted their ballots during early voting ahead of constitutional referendum. I'm very happy to be the first voter in my capacity as the regiment commander, and I'm very proud to have fulfilled my civic duty. And I urge all citizens to back on that as well. Interesting. And then in Nigeria as well, young Nigerian entrepreneur in vanguard of green mobility, 31-year-old entrepreneur Mustafa Abubakar Gajibo first converted petrol-powered minibuses into solar-powered electric vehicles in his workshop. There's a picture of him. I mean, that's a good one. Boy, oh boy. Let's see how it all pans out. If that is the way forward, well, that's going to do for us, won't it? Let me say good morning to my pastor as well, Pastor Mo. Good morning. Okay. Morning, Jerry. I hope you are doing well, Oga. All right. But he says, what an honorable, my apologies, what an horrible statement from this killer called Tinubu. You thieves are the ones who should release the money you have stolen, which sacrifices is asking. People are dying, but they think that, well, we need to sacrifice some more. Meanwhile, go and see their table. I mean, when they lay the table for them, they're going to be enjoying like no man's business. The opulence that comes with their reign or their offices. What do you think about all that? More going to be coming away from there. Uganda president on forced leave because of COVID-19. All right then. So that's some stories making the rounds there on the African continent. Moving on straight to Ghana as well. Batiano shooting, land guardism is a canker. Bona is also saying there, illegal miners clash, 1 dead at Etiwa Forest, and we'll break the 8 with our performance. Baumia. Now, if you're a Ghanaian, if you're listening to me, I mean, or if you're even an African, I mean, we have got lots of Nigerians in Ghana. How do you see the performance of the government at the moment? Now, just be objective, not saying sire. I mean, look at what is happening there and see whether they've performed or they managed to do better than their predecessors. But what do you think? Lots more going to be coming your way from there. It's all Starr Radio UK. And as I did say earlier on On Friday, June 9, the president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, was captured flying into a rage at a public ceremony. The president, during a ceremony at the Green Ghana Day event held at the University of Ghana, was captured reacting furiously and instructing the Greater Accra Regional Minister to take some action. However, a graphic Some News has revealed that the actual reason behind the incident, according to the report by some of the journalists who were the presidential correspondent, said the president's fury was ignited by a decision by the chief and elders of Mempasem who were present at the event to refuse to stand for the national anthem. Ni Tagbo Obodai Ampao and his elders, contrary to protocol, refused to stand to the tune of the national anthem by the Ghana Armed Forces Band immediately after the arrival of the president. This was after the MC for the event, Kafuide, had announced that the gathering stands for the anthem. Now, inaudible for the most part of this rage, President Akufo-Addo is heard telling the regional minister to go and tell him, stand up. When I become president, they think of giving all the power to do whatever to us. When corruption and things that they need to frown on or throw tantrums or rage, they never do those. But an anthem being played and they say, well, people should be patriotic enough to stand up. Are your people being patriotic enough when they are squandering the finances of state and wasting them? That is the question. And how do you stand up to them? Well, this is a lot more we're going to be having a look at today. So don't you go away. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. And let's join Eli J. Whilst it brings you the song Jesus Never Fails. Hallowed be your name. I'll be waiting for Mr. Olayomi to join us, and as I did say, there's lots of a bit of noise in the background due to the powerful fans that have been turned on here to cool the systems here. So just stay tuned.
We worship you, Lord. Open hands, we say. Voices and say, hallowed be your name. Whatever comes our way, we lift our voices and say, hallowed be. Sing it all around the world. Oh Lord, the one who is to come. We lift our voices and say, hallowed.
This is Starr Radio.
Are you ready to turn it up?
You are listening to Starr Radio. Hallowed be your name. With a grateful heart, come on! If you feel voice, say Jesus, Jesus, you never fail. You never fail. You are just the same. The same. Yesterday, today. Take a look at me. Look at me, the one you say. Oh Lord, hallowed be your name. Lift up your voices and say, Jesus, Jesus, you never fail. You will never fail. You are just the same. The same. Yesterday, today. Take a look at me. Look at me, the one you say. Put your hands together, come on. Oh Lord, to the mighty God, to all the words that is to come. Come on, come on. Put your hands together. We worship you, Lord Jesus. Oh, we'll take that one more time now. With open hands, we say, wave your hands to him. We lift our voices and say, hallowed be your name.
Well, Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
We lift our voices and say,
2 minutes minutes by the top of the hour at a time. Well, if you have not had your COVID booster jab here in the UK, you're being encouraged or advised to do so. As we know, in Uganda, the president has to be forced to take a leave because he's been infected by the COVID once again, the old boy. So if you're here up to the 30th of June, yes, that facility is there for you. Go in there. If you've not had your first jab, if you've had a first jab and you need the booster, you have to go in for it. If you've taken your second jab and you need the booster, you need to go in for it as well. But it's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. Elijah! Hallowed be your name.
Look at me, the one you say. I know you have testimonies. Oh Lord, hallowed be. Sing to the great Almighty God. Lift up your voices and say, Jesus, Jesus, you never fail. You have never failed. You are just the same. Oh, just the same. Yesterday, what a beautiful Lord you are. Take a look at us. Look at me, the one you say. Oh Lord, hallowed be. All around the world, lift up your voices and say, Jesus, Jesus. This is Starr Radio, Starr Radio UK. You have never failed.
Enlighten your day with Starr.
The same Lord, yesterday, today. You Lord, take a look at me, the one you say. Oh Lord, hallowed be your name. Yeah. Jesus, Jesus, you have never failed. You will never fail. You are just the same. My yesterdays and today. Take a look at us. Look at us, the one you say. Hallowed be your name. With a grateful heart, come on, sing it now. Jesus, 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 oh, Jesus, Jesus, oh, yesterday, today. Oh, take a look at me, the one.
Well, take a look at me, the one you saved.
Oh, we worship your name, Jesus.
It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Don't stop praising him. Jesus, Jesus,
Never fail.
you will never.
You are just the same.
So beautiful you are.
Yesterday and today. Take a look at me, the one you say. All right then. 5 minutes by the top of the hour at a time. Starr Radio UK, the station, the morning show, the program. We're going to be taking a break now and prepare ourselves for Mr. Olayomi, who is going to be joining in to bring you all the details of what is happening in or from Nigeria. Well, from Tinubu's statement, as a president, he said, I'm asking Nigerians to sacrifice a little more to save Nigeria from collapsing. So did they know that Nigeria was collapsing whilst it was part of that presidency of Buhari? The underperformance of Buhari? Well, what do you think about all that? Well, I can see that Bishop is also enjoying that tune from Elijah. It says glorious worship there.
The one you say, the one you say,
Well, Atiko says, the 12th of Nigeria, which is supposed to be Democracy Day, that is celebrated by Nigerians, it's nothing. There is nothing to celebrate because he's of the view that, you know what, democracy about civilians dictatorship. So earlier on we have military dictatorship, but now he's talking about civilian dictatorship. Those who come in and come on and make sure that nothing that you are they put their interest forward or first and yours in the back burner or on the back burner, and he's asking, what do you think? He said it's up to us to actually rise up and fight against them. Well, it seems to be the same segment that Sowore did make back in the day, where he was of the view that the sufferings of Nigerians and everything that was going on, people need to rise up And when he called for that demonstration, he was arrested and he's still in Nigeria. He's not been allowed to leave the country. But well, the DSS are saying that MFL's passport has been confiscated, and they plan to visit his home for a search. Now, so is that Buhari was the one protecting MFL, though he knew that he was in the wrong? So if that was what he was doing, then what about others? Or was it just a face-saving project by Buhari at the time to, you know what, I don't want it to be that maybe everybody, where does MFL hail from? The north, the south, the east, from the west? I want one of you guys to, actually share that with me. But it looks like he decided, okay, no problem, Mr. Olayomi is going to be joining us pretty soon. It looks like he decided, you know what, I'm going to just keep him there. I don't want to be like, just kick him out of that office, though he might have done some wrong. But what has he actually done? Well, the DSS over the weekend were saying that they were after him, and they were at the point they were saying they didn't have him, and now we know is that they've confiscated his passport. What has he done? What are the charges that have been leveled against him? Is it what we're talking about? Supporting? Is it terrorism, or I don't know exactly what charges have been leveled against him. But I promise you one thing for sure, that we're going to be telling you more about that once we have Mr. Olayomi Koiki on. But some other stories: Tinubu Democracy Day broadcast. Okay, Sirika accuses Nanji of demanding 5% share in Nigeria Air. Wow. Okay, so some stories coming out from there. We'll tell you more about that. Well, 5%. Okay. Now, inspire us to correct the error of February 25. That is what Peter Obi is also saying. Obi about the 12th of June Day, that's Democracy Day celebration that is also going on. He is of the view that he says Peter Obi has urged Nigerians to let the spirit of June 12 being celebrated as Democracy Day in our country inspire us to correct the errors of February 25, 2023 as the surest route to restoring and deepening Nigeria's democracy. Are we going to see any different report from the the tribunal? Do you think? And even if that happens, let's say there's going to be a rerun. Do you think that will happen? No way. Okay, Bishop Adesina says Nigerian leaders will be punished for swinging the people of God largely into confusion, lack, and insecurity. It is payback time. Judgment season. My goodness. Well, he's pronounced judgment upon them. Let's see what happens on that. It's a suspended CBN governor. Okay, we'll be telling you more about that. But as I was saying, what do you think about that? Well, Atiko is also saying that Nigerian democracy is still in bondage, though we are in a democratic era, as they might say it, or dispensation, as they might portray it. But it looks like we're nowhere near there. But please arrest bandits, informants, Kuje prison escapees in Abuja, and Binance ordered to hold Nigeria operation by country's finance watchdog. It's one of the stories making the rounds there. But when it comes to what is happening to the CBN governor, okay, DSS has seized MFL's passport to search his home office. Now, Department of State Services, okay, once again, Mr. Olayomi Koiki to join in. As I did say, it's going to be a busy day this morning, so we're going to just hit it on the head, and then we can let him go to do other stuff that he has to do this morning. But let me take this opportunity to say good morning to you, Yomi.
Well, a very good morning to you, Mr. Archie. Good morning to all our listeners and viewers, and welcome once again to the Starr Radio UK network, where we bring you all the news updates and as many of events that took place over the weekend. And I hope you had a very good weekend. My weekend was very good. I will come back again now to you in the studio. Good morning, Frank. Good morning to all our viewers and those that have joined us so far.
Well, good morning to you. Yeah, it was a lovely weekend, apart from the heat that was not making us sleep. Some people didn't sleep at all. That aside,
well, go on. Right. The weather has been a very beautiful one. I spent, the Saturday with his children in a small little party. And you can tell that, the weather out today, the weather is quite a little bit warm outside. I'm not in the house, as you can tell, but the weather is very beautiful. And I believe that we can manage it just before we can start thinking of the winter. But for now, I will come back again to you in the studio.
Well, vitamin Z for free. What about that? Okay, let's crack on. All right, then. Now, let's talk about the Democracy Day and the statement that the President Tinubu has made and what the opposition leaders have also made so far. Over to you.
Well, June 12, for those that probably doesn't know, June 12 is a very important day in Nigeria, and it has been like that for some time now. And the reason for that is because we had this election in 1993 that eventually was overturned by the military, and that led to so much of the crisis that led to the emergency of a new democracy in 1999. It took a very long time until the former president Muhammadu Buhari decided to allow the late MP Abiola to be called a president that was never there. And today, after 30 years as well, it seems the power have changed again. And because when those that were a little bit skeptical, especially when the election, the concluded election in February was getting closer, people were thinking that the democracy will fail, and that would literally mean that would throw us back to where we were before. So let's first highlight, Democracy Day is celebrated yearly in June 12 in the honor of the winner of the June 12, 1993 presidential election, the late Chief Moshood Kashimawo Olawale, popularly known as the MKO, and the hero of the June 12. But today has been also, Bola Tinubu, first time, celebrating these as well. Peter Obi has been speaking. I'll be telling you what he's been saying. And likewise, Atiku believed that the democracy in the hands of his, a dictator civilian. We are not in a military era anymore, so I'm not too sure why, Atiku is using a dictator civilian. But also, Peter Obi says, Nigerian democracy deeply troubled. I'll come back again to you in the studio when I'll be telling you what actually Bola Tinubu have said in his broadcast to Nigerians this morning.
Well, listeners, Mr. Olayomi Koiki en route. So in North London, but en route this time around. Out there, you can see the nice scenery behind him, the trees and all the green belt there. But now, celebrating Democracy Day, we know the late MKO Abiola and everything that he did. The fact that they are acknowledging him and everything, that people are complaining of the fact that during the elections, they think that the right thing wasn't done. Because they think that though we are in a civilian rule or the civilian dispensation, the leaders actually try to impose results on the people, because the people are saying that that was not what we actually did, unless the courts rule otherwise. Though,
well, the election that was just concluded, was not, what a lot of Nigerians expected. When you look at especially the INEC chairman traveling to London, the Chatham House, promising what we called, a transmission of results. But Buhari believes that he has done his best, by allowing, at least the former president has returned back to Daura, and likewise, government continue. And always government continue, but it seems that the opposition are not pleased with the outcome of this, election that have just been concluded. And that is why Peter Obi went on to say the Labour Party presidential candidate during the February 25th presidential election, Peter Obi, has claimed that the Nigerian democracy is deeply troubled. This is his own statement to commemorate the June 12th. He's also the former Anambra State governor, said the country is still in search of solutions to many of the basic problems. According to him, we are now in an era where the foundational pillar of democracy are undermined by the prevalent impunity, perceived violence, bloodletting. He, however, said he was committed to the new Nigeria. That is his own statement. I'll be telling you the other statement as well. So as many Nigerians, believe that there's still a lot of work to be done. But let's first look at what Bola Tinubu is saying. Tinubu hails MKO Abiola, also promises to ease the subsidy removal during his statement this morning. He described the late businessman who died in a suspicious circumstances after his election was annulled by the late General Sani Abacha as the symbol of the democracy that he himself is enjoying today. He also went on to say that Tinubu acknowledged the hardship being faced by Nigerians in the aftermath of the fuel subsidy removal, said his administration will reward their sacrifice with a massive investment in transportation, infrastructure, education, regular power supply, healthcare, and other public utility. And when I hear the healthcare, we said all the time on Friday, may Nigeria not happen to us, but one of our staff that works in Nigeria, the mother died at the early hours of Saturday because there was no oxygen, there was no emergency to come to the home at 3 o'clock in the morning in Ibadan, and the mother died, and the mother now has been buried. That is the healthcare that Tinubu says there will be more investment, but whether that is going to happen anytime soon, especially with the debt that Nigeria is going through, many Nigerians are reacting to the June 12th Democracy Day.
Wow, listeners, Mr. Olayomi Kweke in North London, it's not in North London, and myself, Archie, here in the South Studios, and we are bringing you updates from Nigeria. But Democracy Day, all said and done, but we were talking about the fact that Nigerians have to sacrifice, and lots of comments that have come through here. I mean, people calling them, virtually not thinking things through properly before making those statements, and talking about the corruption, the wanton corruption that they've all sat and overseen, and they are now calling for people to sacrifice. Now, are we going to see anything different from the convoys? So the president is traveling, and you see the convoy as if a whole country or a whole village is moving their vehicles to one particular. Are we going to see anything like that there? So people can say, you know what? Oh, the president has cut this convoy to maybe 5 or 6, and therefore, why not? Let us also sacrifice. Are we going to see anything of the sort?
Well, I think the president, apart from the convoy, let's talk about the subsidy. Subsidy is costing us 400 billion naira every month. That is going to be a saving there, for the government, because it is not included in this budget. But the question also is, how can we turn those infrastructure back in place? Democracy in Nigeria came back in 1999, and one of those areas that the late MKO Abiola invested most of his time and energy. And I remember he talked about it even at some point when he personally drove his football team, or what we can call the football club. Let's talk about the Champions League. It was played in Istanbul. That generates a lot of money to Istanbul. How come we can't bring it to Ghana, to Nigeria, to South Africa? They have to think about the security. Even Nigeria, as we speak, you cannot pay with your own debit card. So if you're going to bring in a sporting event like that, then a lot of people will have to also think about their security. So when you talk about Tinubu, whether reducing his convoy, maybe not, maybe yet. But the former governor of Zamfara State took away more than 48 vehicles while he left the governor to his own compound. Those vehicles have now been taken back again, and they are now asking him to come and prove the ownership of those vehicles. But as the country celebrates Democracy Day in honor of the winner of the June 12 presidential election, Moshood Abiola, Tana Ayajina writes about the lasting sport legacy left behind by the politician. During an interview in 1992, just a year before the election that he never knew was going to be announced by some of his closest friends, Babangida is still alive, and so many other military cabal that Abiola was very close to. He was inducted into the African Football Hall of Fame and also honored by the Federation of African Football with an Order of Merit in the Gold Award. The Continental Football Body highest honor, the late Moshood Abiola, sounded prophetic towards the end of his interactive session with journalists. So the question is, are we going to see the best of sport in Nigeria during the tenure of President Bola Tinubu? Because we know that sport generates huge amount of resources and income especially when you look at the way it is managed here in UK, when the 60,000 stadium is not just only used for the sporting event. Beyonce was almost 4 days back to back at Tottenham, where she was playing in a concert. The question to Tinubu now is, where is he going to find out the money to use when it comes to the infrastructure and whatever other area and sector that he's talking about? This is Star Radio UK. I'll come again back to you in the studio as Nigerians celebrate June 12th, Democracy Day.
Well, what do you think about the celebration of the Democracy Day? Is it worth it at all? Let us know your take on that. But let's move on straight. I mean, we're talking about the finance. Where is the president going to get the money from and all that? But so one person who was sitting at the finance before the elections, who caused Nigeria to actually Nigerians as a whole to suffer because they decided to change the currency. And by changing that currency, what happened there was that people didn't have even their own money that were in the bank. They couldn't go and take their monies out. And that is the CBN governor, MFLA. Now, over the weekend, there were rumors going on. He has been arrested by the DSS. The DSS say that they didn't have him, and it went on and on and on. But now we know that they've confiscated his passport and going to go to his house, to go his home to go and search there. Now, can you tell us more about that, Yomi?
Well, it is not news that Bola Tinubu was going to remove, Emefiele. Let me take you back through Emefiele. Emefiele is the longest, central bank governor in Nigeria. And apart from that, he also had an interest, to contest the presidential election, because he also, didn't say that, but we saw, the vehicle and it was good. But he wanted to be a presidential aspirant, or he still wants to maintain his line as the governor of the central bank. But we now know that the DSS picked him up over the weekend, and the video is already in the social media. It was not just only picked up, we can now also confirm that he's now currently in the DSS custody, where they are now asking questions. I'm not sure what question they are asking the CBN governor, because we know that a lot of things happened in December. Do we blame the CBN governor, or do we blame, the former president Muhammadu Buhari, that have been asking Tinubu to put CBN governor on a very soft landing? But it seems that Tinubu is saying right now that that is not going to happen. DSS arrests CBN governor Godwin Emefiele after he was suspended. He was not just suspended, he was also arrested because there were rumors that he was trying to find his way out of Nigeria through the land border. The Nigerian Central Bank Governor Godwin Emefiele, as we say, created the changes that affected so many lives of Nigerians, but today is currently now in the hands of the DSS. They've also confiscated his passport, and we don't know what next, but it seems maybe it's vengeance, or is it just the normal thing that Tinubu would like to find out what actually went on to the changes that never had a big impact. When we talk about cashless policy, it has to be a system that will favor Nigerians. Remember that Bola Tinubu said, remove the money, remove the fuel subsidy, but we will win this election. And that election was won by him. He's now in the power, and he's now saying to Emefiele that you have questions to answer. And we'll have to wait and see what Emefiele and his legal team will be putting out to challenge what we can call, Emefiele and the government of Nigeria. Nigerian Department of State Services has announced that Godwin Emefiele, the suspended governor of the country of the central bank, was detained on Saturday. Emefiele, who served as the governor of the bank for 9 years, had been removed from his post on Friday evening by the Nigerian President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. What led to Emefiele's arrest? The DSS attempted to arrest Emefiele in December under the suspicions of terrorism funding, other economic crimes, yet the court blocked him because the former President Buhari was backing him up. But this time around, Buhari is no longer in power. Tinubu has given the all clear, just as Obasanjo gave the all clear for the arrest of Ibori in Dubai that ended up back in UK and spent years. Ibori is back in government as well, because I saw Ibori and one other politician mingling together with Bola Tinubu in Aso Rock. When they say your time is served, does not mean that we do not remember some of the atrocities that they've done. But this is how politics is played, and it seems now the DSS governor is now in the dungeon of the DSS, just as Nnamdi Kanu is still in the captivity of the DSS. Star Radio UK, I come again back again to you in the studio, Mr. Archie.
Well, listeners, it's 11:27, and we will allow Yomi to bring you the rest of the story that is making the round and what is happening on the social media platform. As I did say, we were doing it snappy there.
Well,
yeah.
As we go into some of the other headlines, there's been different reaction. APC chieftain tells Nigerians to pay taxes, duties promptly. Everywhere in the world, taxes is used to fund and take care of services, but Nigerians avoid a lot of taxes, and that is the reason why some believe that even the taxation system in Nigeria doesn't work, and that is why one of the actors in Nigeria was asking the Lagos State governor, how come you're asking me to pay 80 million naira for taxes, even though I've been paying taxes in as much as she can remember, or is it because she's just a celebrity? That is coming as well. IG Usman probes how Dapo Abiodun loaded 5 billion naira on the bank link voucher to buy votes in Ogun State governorship election. That is going on. Tinubu has asked Nigerians to sacrifice a little bit more. Guess what? To save Nigeria from collapsing. So Tinubu agrees that Nigeria is also collapsing. So let's take a look at that as well. These are part of what the Yoruba people, the Biafra, the Ijaw, the Middle Belt are saying. If we want to remain in Nigeria, then there will be no subjugation and no marginalization. Painfully, I have asked you, my compatriot, to sacrifice a little bit more for the survival of our country, says President Bola Tinubu in his June 12 Democracy Day broadcast. Painfully, he says, but how painful it is to save Nigerians. Nigerians are currently enduring hardship brought about by the hike of the pump price of the petrol that now costs between almost 500 naira or 1,000 per litre across the country. Beside the high pump price, people also struggle to withdraw 40,000 naira on the limit of the ATM. But the president promised, for your trust and believe in us, I assure you that your sacrifice shall not be in vain. He vowed that his government would not take the sacrifice of Nigerians for granted, adding that the removal of the fuel subsidy was necessary for a better country, long strangulated by the unnecessary expenditure. And we hope part of those expenditure will also happen when he himself cut down governances in his own government as well. Let's take some more and then we go straight to the social media. It seems that the Kaduna State governor, some of his utterances that said some few weeks ago that there would never be a Christian governor in Kaduna for the next, he's done 8 years, for the next 12 years of Kaduna State. But a top Christian cleric have now resigned from Kaduna Commission over El Rufai revelation that Muslims will rule Nigeria for decades. Until his resignation, Apostle Emmanuel Nuhu Kuru was the co-chair and the member of the Kaduna Peace Commission. And what do we know? And why did he resign? Dated June 8, Mr. Kuru resignation letter that has been obtained was titled Letter of Resignation as the co-chair and the member House of Kaduna Family, Kaduna State Peace Commission. In a viral video, Mr. El Rufai actively campaigned for a Muslim ticket to become the norm in Nigeria. The ex-governor also explained why his past administration favored Muslim over Christian in Kaduna State. And it seems that this individual doesn't seem to be pleased as well. Let's take one more from the news and then we go straight to the social media. We've been talking about the Nigerian Air, and it seems that the man behind it is also talking. I didn't spend all the 3 billion that was released for Nigerian Air. Reps demand 5% bribe. Wow. It seems that Nigerian corruption is just a hike that we continue to talk about. The former aviation minister, Hadi Sariki, says he spent only 3 billion that President Muhammadu Buhari released to him to float the national carrier Nigerian Air, the former aviation minister, says that the 3 billion was what he spent, and he went further. According to him, from 2016 to 2023, the budget for the Nigerian Air was 5 billion naira, and he has only spent 3 billion, was released to date. The money was yet to be completed. He also claimed the government did not pay a dime for the Nigerian Air for the unveiling on the 26th, just 48 hours before the former President Buhari was leaving. He also went on to say, it is ridiculous to think that we hire and painted an aircraft for 138 billion, which could give us 5 new Boeing 77 Max. Mr. Seriki explained, we are responsible people, and the general public should approach the Ministry of Information and apply for the right of information. And that is a complete lie. No Nigerians can have access, as we do here, for right to freedom of information. And he's saying now, you can go and obtain that, knowing fully well that that is not going to happen. By June this year, in a scandal, the House of Representatives urged President Bola Tinubu to constitute a high-level presidential committee to look into that. But as we say, Nigerians are the one facing the bundle and the pain, and that is why Professor Banji Akintoye says clearly that we must do whatever it takes to come out of the dungeon that the Yoruba people have found themselves. There is not a very good news as the Nigerian Air Force female officer commits suicide in Lagos military base. We pray for the family and those that she left behind. I'm going to take one more too, but the most important conversation on the social media, let's talk about at Morakinyo. Democracy talks playing with democracy demonstration of crazy. Also, it reminds us of all the atrocity that took place during the election with ballot snatching and all sorts as well. Also, Yura_Yoruba Nimi, hashtag Yoruba Lives Matter. They also remind us of the clampdown on civilians fighting for self-determination with the death of Adogon and Alhaji Fatai, the friend and family of the Chief Sunday Igboho that was attacked in his home. Omoyele Sowore went on to say, yours truly, in 1993, as the SUG president of the University of Lagos at a press conference in Lagos, asking Ibrahim Babangida and the military junta led by the military junta to immediately release the remaining result of the watershed June 12. Sowore has been in the game. He has been an activist for a very long time, and he's still there. African Confidential went on to say, how can one individual come out to claim God gave them the blueprint of how to carve a country out of another, and they have to do it solo? And you don't see clearly psychosis, Dupe Onira, Onijibiti is not a problem. It is you who still follow the blindly, and you are just as deranged. Also, some of those that are following Dupe are now asking the same question. Are they sure that they have a country already, or is it just something that is said on the social media? Peter Obi is trending at 44,000 this morning, and as I said, also, it seems that there's another Nigerian lady in Ekiti State trying to beat the one that completed the Guinness world record that has not been confirmed yet by Guinness. She's also cooking already. I already saw another one in the southeast that is also promoting to bake to fry puff for as many hours to beat the record. It seems that Nigerians are trying to beat the record of each other. Star Radio UK, I'll come back again to you in the studio before we start winding down.
Well, I hope that whatever puff or whatever they are cooking is edible so that people can be eating. If people are hungry, Abby. Well, let's start Radio UK. Mr. Olayomi in North London. But Bishop Adesina, in reacting to that question that I posed, it says MFLA is from the eastern part of the country.
Yeah, southeast.
Southeast. Igbo speaking, Delta State. But the question is, was Buhari trying to protect him because he didn't want to take any step against him, knowing whatever he had done, if it wronged them, for them to say that, oh, he was trying to maybe destroy or alienate the Igbos? Is that what he was trying to do? And for real?
Well, Buhari was trying to protect the interest of Emefiele. There's no doubt Emefiele should have been arrested in December. Buhari blocked that. Emefiele should have been called to question. President Buhari blocked that. And President Buhari has always said that whatever Emefiele was doing, he was the one giving the go-ahead. But Nigerians believe that Emefiele was acting on the other cabal within the cabal in Abuja.
Well, interesting. I thought that maybe he would flee the country before the swearing.
He was trying to, but I think intelligence was also on him.
Well. Interesting. If you have enjoyed updates, you want to post your comments as some gentlemen and ladies, I'm Dan. Feel free to do so, and I promise you we're going to acknowledge you. But as we did say that Yomi has a very tight schedule this morning, but he found the time to come and throw more light on what is happening in Nigeria. Before we let him go, let's go back to him. Yomi, what else do you have in your closing remarks?
Well, it is still Democracy Day in Nigeria, but the question is, how true is the democracy? Keep those comments on the timeline of the Star Radio UK. I'll be back again tomorrow. But on Wednesday, we will be discussing more with length time on June 12. What does it really mean to Nigerians? And how far more do we need to continue to live in denial? Star Radio UK, it is the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. With a beautiful weather outside, I leave you in the custody of the man in charge now, Archie, to take you through the traffic. The traffic is very good this morning. Everybody's gone to school as usual. This is what we see here. But in Nigeria, you'll be hearing all kind of noises with a lot of horn, which is not something good. But I'll leave you again for Archie to remain telling you about the traffic on the London Underground and the buses. But for now, have a very good afternoon. Bye for now.
Bye, Yomi. Thank you very much. Well, listeners, that has been Mr. Olayomi Koiki, our one and only, bringing you all that you need to know pertaining to what is happening in Nigeria. From updates from Nigeria this morning. Okay, 11:39 the time. Let's take a break. We come back and bring you some music and we continue with the show. I hope that you're enjoying the show so far. But feel free, post your comments there. In the next 21 minutes, I'll be opening the lines. But if before then you want to post your comments, you want us to read it or whatever it is, feel free to do so. And I promise you one thing for sure, I'm going to do that. So let's take a break and I'm going to be with you.
Hi, I'm Ada Williams and I'm an NHS pharmacist. Don't get caught out by COVID this summer. If you have only had one COVID-19 vaccination or haven't had one at all, you can still get your free vaccine until the 30th of June. Book your vaccine through the NHS app, online at nhs.uk/COVID vaccination or call 119 for free.
Tune in to On Point here on Star Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Them crazy, we're gonna chase those crazy bald heads out of town. Chase those crazy bald heads out of the town. 'Cause I build the cabbage and I plant the corn. So did not my people before me slave for this country. Now you look what they have done. They heat up all my corn. Chase those crazy, chase those crazy, chase those crazy Paul head, chase those crazy bumpers, chase those crazy bald heads right out of town. Still little pops, still little pops, do that, that's his little baby. So she's little top, little start out of pops, little rapper. Running and you're running away. You're running and you're running and you're running away. You're running and you're running and you're running away. You're running and you're running, but you can't run away from yourself. 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 I've done something wrong. Why you can't find the place where you belong? Well, wow, you're running away. You're running away. Tell me why you're running away. You're running away. Hey, every man think that his burden is the heaviest. Every man think that his burden is the heaviest. I still do now. Who feels it knows it, Lord. Who feels it knows it, Lord. Who feels it knows it, Lord. And who feels it? Oh, I'm running away. Come on, don't you run away, my brother, now. My brother, don't you run away. My sister, don't you run away. I'm running away. Oh, don't you run away, don't you run away.
Hi, I'm Ada Williams and I'm an NHS pharmacist. Don't get caught out by COVID this summer. If you have only had one COVID-19 vaccination or haven't had one at all, you can still get your free vaccine until the 30th of June. Book your vaccine through the NHS app, online at nhs.uk/COVID vaccination or call 119 for free.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Check me out. He tells me my energy is making him tired.
Yes!
How do you get the energy to do that?
I've been told that I have a lot of energy, but my goodness, I think today I have met my match, people. I have met my match, Miss Suzanne. Wow, amazing.
One of the things that's the start of the darkness. The whole of darkness.
So what did that
myself and the world in a just and 2019.
Forget the proverbial boardroom. Join me, Simone Frazier, on the CEO, the program that gives you the driving seat over your life. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. only on Starr Radio.
Hi, I'm Ada Williams and I'm an NHS pharmacist. Don't get caught out by COVID this summer. If you have only had one COVID-19 vaccination or haven't had one at all, you can still get your free vaccine until the 30th of June. Book your vaccine through the NHS app, online at nhs.uk/COVID vaccination or call 119 for free.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go from Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business, but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour Show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Pram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Pram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Hi, I'm Ada Williams and I'm an NHS pharmacist. Don't get caught out by COVID this summer. If you have only had one COVID-19 vaccination or haven't had one at all, you can still get your free vaccine until the 30th of June. Book your vaccine through the NHS app online at nhs.uk/COVID vaccination or call 119 for free.
Okay, welcome back to the program. It is Starr Radio UK. Let me announce the lines open and we take another trend of music and then I will come back to you. Now, if you want to join the conversation this morning, call us on 02081 332257 or 58 02081 332257 or 58. And if you happen to be in the US, Canada, or the Caribbean area, it's 001 718 303 2737 001 718 303 2737. You can text or WhatsApp us 0753966144 0753966144. Our Twitter handle is always at Starr Radio. You can email address is info@starradiouk.com. All right then, on the WhatsApp as well, you can also call us and I'll be able to pick it so that you can make your voice heard as well. So please feel free to do so. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay, so stay tuned. Don't you go away. Enjoy this song from Mo Ali, and it says Root Riders, and it says a small acts. Okay, so we are here. We're going to be hearing anything that they are doing that is not going to profit the people, and that seems to be pushing the people and marginalizing them. What do you think? Enjoy it, and I'll be with you. In the UK, especially in London here. Well, but somebody tell you that, well, we wanted the hot weather, but you know what? Some of us can't do well with that hot weather at all. So bear with us, But we are still the small acts that will hear in the big tree if it's not performing what it's supposed to perform. But on Democracy Day in Nigeria, do you think democracy is being planned or what do you call it, practiced? Lord, or is it just a name? Is it just a name, something that we just say? What do you think about all that? It's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. Now let's move on to other African countries to look at some of the stories making the rounds there as well. Well, in Mali, soldiers have cast ballots during early voting ahead of constitutional referendum, and the story says members of Mali security forces have cast their ballots during early voting ahead of the new constitution referendum. The referendum, slated for June 18, is a major milestone on the road to elections promised for February 2024 on Sunday, June 11. Soldiers cast their ballots in Bamako in early voting. Now, it goes on further to say the draft constitution strengthens the power of the president, and under it, the president, rather than the government, appoints the prime minister, and ministers. The president also has the right to sack them as well as dissolve parliament, but there are sections of the draft that have already triggered controversy. A part says Mali is an independent, sovereign, unitary, indivisible, democratic, secular, and social republic, and has got imams, a powerful religious class in the Sahelian nation, contesting the principle of secularism. Well, do we want to say that we want to always continue to exclude ourselves or live in that cocoon when we know that integration has become something that, whether you like it or not, at times it's flown in your face? But, well, so when is what the referendum pass or not? We'll be telling you more about it after the 18th of June. All right then. Let me say good afternoon to Anthony Adedeji. So good morning. We've got about a couple of minutes. Anthony Adedeji, I hope you are doing very, very well. Thank you very much for the thumbs up there as well. But more stories making the rounds on the African continent. Legal stay extended for thousands of Zimbabweans. That's what is happening in in South Africa. Tens of thousands of Zimbabwean nationals working in South Africa were facing deportation when their work permits expire at the end of June, and have given a temporary reprieve as the South Africa authorities extended the deadline on Thursday. About 178,000 holders of the Zimbabwean exemption permits and immigration permit issued in 2010 to Zimbabweans who had migrated to South Africa now have until the end of December this year to apply for the visas and waivers to continue working in the country. All right then, good news for those who want to live there. Now, in other stories making the rounds, the Ethiopian government has criticized the suspension of food aid to the country by the United States and the UN World Food Program. Government spokesperson Legis Tulu on Saturday called the decision political, saying the suspension punishes millions of people. More than 15% of the country's population depends on food aid. On Thursday, USAID, the US government's international aid agency, announced the suspension of its food aid, denouncing a widespread and coordinated detour operation. The following day, the WFP announced that it was temporarily suspending food aid, also citing detour of food, while asserting that nutritional assistance to children, pregnant and lactating women, school meal programs and activities to strengthen farmers and herders in the face of external shocks would continue uninterrupted. Well, so kudos to them there as well. But it's all coming away from Starr Radio UK, bringing the time now to 12 o'clock, and it is the morning show, the Monday edition, coming your way. I am Archie. Well, when it comes to Ghana, Ghanaians are yearning to be freed from Akufo-Addo's reckless government. So I have that come your way. And then the action of the president as the president of Ghana, when the national anthem was played and a chief and his entourage decided to sit. So it's not like only the chief who then we can say that, well, maybe he's upset, but his entourage all decided to sit. And the president went ballistic. But if you look at issues that have happened in the country, issues that have caused people to lose their life, issues that have caused a freedom to be actually snatched out of the public's hands, then you ask yourself, is this what we voted him there to do for us? Okay, so let me start it from here. On Friday, June 9, 2023, President Nana Akufo-Addo was captured flying into a rage at a public ceremony. The president, during a ceremony at the Green Ghana Day event held at the University of Ghana, was captured reacting furiously and instructing the Greater Accra Regional Minister to take some action. However, a graphic.com information that was coming from that point said the president's fury was ignited by a decision by the chief and elders of Mempasem who were present at the event to refuse to stand for for the national anthem. Ni Togbo Obodai Ampao and his elders, contrary to protocol, refused to stand to the tune of the national anthem by the Ghana Armed Forces, banned immediately after the arrival of the president. Now, so would you say that is a force? Or people should be made to stand up when the national anthem is played? And does that make them patriotic? Would you classify somebody who stands up when the national anthem is played to be patriotic? Or would you rather see somebody who is doing his due diligence when it comes to the little work that he's doing, paying his taxes, doing everything possible to make sure that his community or the corner where he finds himself is moving along, shining the light there? Do you think that one is more patriotic than somebody just standing up? Now, this was after the MC for the event, Kafui Day, has announced that the gathering stands up for the anthem. Now, inaudible for the part of the raid, President is heard telling the regional minister to go and tell him, stand up. Now, Henry Quarter, who on the orders of the president walked out of the frame in the video, is said to have approached Ni Togbo and his entourage and held a brief discussion. Now, the aftermath of the decision, according to the report, was followed by brisk participation of the chief and his elders in all the events of the ceremony, including standing upright for a subsequent national anthem, which was played to mark the end of the event. It is, however, not known what prompted the initial refusal of the chief and his elders to stand for the national anthem. Now, Green Day was introduced in 2021 by President Nana Addo Dankwa as part of aggressive national reforestation program to restore the lost forest cover of Ghana and to contribute to the global effort to mitigate climate change. Annually, the event has seen millions of trees planted across the country. The 2023 edition was marked under the theme mobilizing for a greener future and targeting planting of some 10 million trees. But if you look at that and the rage that the president went into, you ask yourself the question, if he's got that, how come the things that need such actions, he's not acted on them, or he had hush them? What do you think? But well, the former president, John Mahama, has said Ghanaians want to be rescued from President Akufo-Addo's reckless government. According to him, Ghanaians are ready to work with the National Democratic Congress government in order to build a better nation. Addressing the National Democratic Congress European Chapter Conference at the Amsterdam, Holland, Mr. Mahama indicated that compatriots in Ghana have yet again given him the opportunity to lead the NDC during the party's presidential primaries. That exercise has contributed to reinvigorating our executives and members at the grassroots. It also it allowed us to take our message to them and the people in their constituencies. Now, reminding them that the National Democratic Congress remains the political party to trust when it comes to the total development and welfare of the citizens of Ghana. Well, during their tenure, they also did some things that actually some of us were very, very upset about, because we were looking and trusting that they were going to do exemplarily well. However, it didn't happen that way. Now, it goes on further to say, it's therefore our duty to rededicate ourselves to work with absolute commitment in our branches to secure the maximum vote to guarantee an emphatic victory in 2024. I want to repeat that we must go to the polls on December 7 with our referee. That referee will be diligence, preparedness, and winning the election emphatically. Our 2020 election comeback, raising the number of our seats from 106 to 137 and increasing our votes by almost 1.4 million, resulted from the dedication and hard work of us all and the output of the people of Ghana, Mr. Mahama stated. So let's see what is going to happen on that front. Are we going to see anything different from that point, or is it going to be same old, but just another day? It is Starr Radio UK. But the NDC are threatening now, next NDC government will jail all corrupt NPP officials. That's what Sherry Ayite is saying. The first vice chairperson of the National Democratic Congress, Sherry Ayite, has stated that the next NDC government will deal drastically with any official of the Akufo-Addo led government found to have engaged in corruptible practices. Well, in other story, Judge Kwesi is ready to sacrifice his constituents even if he is jailed after by-election. But what do you think there? It is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. But Pallien does not hold British citizenship. Gideon Boakon is saying the Vice President spokesperson Dr. Gideon Boakon has denied that the Vice President Dr. Pallien is a British citizen. Well, now I think they will do everything to stop that. But he said, well, it's not. He doesn't hold anything of the sort. But if he holds it, who should be held culpable? Now, that's a question that we keep on asking. It is all coming away from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let's now move on to other parts of the world, because as I said, there's lots and lots that are happening that we will have to look at today. All right then. Let's a quick commercial break and then we continue with it.
Hi, I'm Ada Williams and I'm an NHS pharmacist. Don't get caught out by COVID this summer. If you have only had one COVID-19 vaccination or haven't had one at all, you can still get your free vaccine until the 30th of June. Book your vaccine through the NHS app, online at nhs.uk/COVID vaccination, or call 119 for free.
Everywhere you go, Afrobeat reggae dancer taking over. Everywhere you go, Afrobeat reggae dancer taking over. Yo, what's up, people? This is a boy Raskin Bobo One. Tune in every day, every night at the Starr Radio UK with the big man them Archie. When I say order, you say fire.
Welcome back to the program. It is Starr Radio UK. 9 minutes past the top of the hour, exactly at 12:30. I'll be taking you to Cyprus, where our one and only HRH Linda Pallien is to bring you Career 101. So wherever you are, don't you go away. But let's move on straight to other parts of the world. Now, Silvio Berlusconi has passed on, or let me put it this way, has died. Silvio Berlusconi, the former Italian Prime Minister who bounced back from sex scandal and corruption allegation, has died aged 86. He died at the San Raffaele Hospital in Milan, according to Italian media. In April, Berlusconi was treated for lung infection linked to chronic leukemia. His death leaves a huge void, Italy's defense minister said. The flamboyant billionaire media tycoon Berlusconi first came to office in 1994 and led 4 governments until 2011. He led the center-right Forza Italia party, which went into coalition under Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni after elections in September, when he was elected to Italy's upper house, the Senate. Now, reacting to the news, Miss Meloni remembered her predecessor as a fighter in a video message, and she said he remained one of the most influential men in history of Italy. Her deputy Matteo Salvini said he was broken and thanked Berlusconi for his friendship, advice, and generosity. Meanwhile, Defense Minister Giorgio Crosetto said an era is over. Farewell, Silvio. His death left a huge void, Mr. Crosetto added in a tweet. The former leader had been suffering from a rare form of blood cancer, chronic myelomonocyte leukemia, doctors at San Raffaele revealed in April. So far, there has been no official confirmation of the immediate cause of his death. He had repeated health problems since contracting COVID in 2020. Born in 1936 in Milan, Berlusconi began his career selling vacuum cleaners before setting up a construction company. He went on to become one of Italy's richest men, building a vast business empire that includes television networks, publishing companies, and advertising agencies. On top of that, he gained international recognition as owner of legendary football club AC Milan, which saved the bankruptcy saved it from bankruptcy in 1986 before going into politics in 1990 or the 90s. Now, former AC Milan player and manager Carlo Ancelotti, who now manages the Real Madrid team, remember Berlusconi as a loyal, intelligent, sincere man. Mr. Ancelotti, who twice won the Champions League with AC Milan under Berlusconi's ownership, said the former prime minister had been a fundamental part of his journey as a football player first and then as a coach. Now, Berlusconi was a polarizing politician. He was praised by supporters for his business acumen and populist verve, but reviled by critics for his disregard for the rule of law. Throughout his political career, he faced a string of legal troubles, including charges of bribery, tax fraud, sex, and underage prostitute. He was convicted on several occasions but avoided jail because of his age and the expiration of statutes of limitation. Now, Berlusconi's passing marks the end of an era in Italian politics and media and leaves a complex and controversial legacy that will be debated for years to come. So what is your take on that? It is all coming your way from Starr in the UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, also here in the UK, looking at some other stories making the rounds. Thousands evacuated as Philippine volcano oozes lava. Around 13,000 people have been evacuated in northeast Philippines as the country's most famous volcano, Pallien, continue to ooze lava. Now, riding lorries and buffalo, drowned carriages, people living drawn carriages living within the permanent danger zone or 6 kilometers radius fled to shelters. Now, known for its perfect conical shape, Pallien started spewing lava last week, but evacuations only began over the weekend as volcanic activities intensified, setting of alerts. Now, more people could be evacuated if Pallien's unrest intensifies in the coming days, said Risito Bacolco, the country's chief volcanologist. It is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, at least 10 people have died and 25 others are in hospital after a wedding bus crashed in an Australian wine region. The passengers were returning from a wedding at a winery on Sunday night in Hunter Valley, a popular spot for wine tourists, when their coach overturned. Now, police have charged the 58-year-old bus driver with 10 counts of dangerous driving, which resulted in the death. They said they were still in the process of identifying the dead. The newlyweds, however, weren't reported to be on the bus. Now, Police Commissioner Karen Webb said the site of the crash is still an active crime scene. We've got forensic officers processing the crime scene. We've got crash investigation and unit officers. We've got rescue officers on scene as well, she added. The accident occurred about 23:30 local time when, according to police, there had been heavy fog in the area. The bus had rolled over while making a turn at a roundabout off a highway. Authorities say the vehicle has now been pulled upright. So what? Was it speeding and did the turning and then it just went on and then boom? That's a sad one. Right, it's all Starr Radio, okay? It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Well, over the weekend, on Friday, we had, before we left, we had some information coming from the US about the about 37 charges that have been leveled against Donald Trump. But interestingly, he's going to be appearing in court tomorrow. However, the judge who is sitting on the case is one that was appointed by him. As to whether she is going to be kicking the ball or the can down the road so that it just plays time so that Donald Trump will then be in office, and once he's in office it will be difficult for anything of the sort to happen, or is she going to just stick to it and say, well, if you've done that, let's see what happens, and let the court or let justice prevail, and let's see whether he is guilty or not, and let's see what happens. That, as Trump did say in his past statements, that was played over the weekend, that no one is above the law, and if anyone is caught doing the same thing that he has done, has to be brought before the courts. So let's see. But some of the view that, well, William Barr, the former U.S. Attorney General who served under Donald Trump, has said the ex-president is toast if allegations he mishandled classified documents are proven to be true. Mr. Barr criticized his former boss and said he had no right to keep the files allegedly found at his home. Mr. Trump will appear in court in Miami tomorrow to face dozens of charges accusing him of illegally retaining classified information. He has repeatedly denied wrongdoing. But speaking on Fox, Mr. Barr, who was Mr. Trump's Attorney General from February 2019 until December 2020, defended the 37 counts indictment made public by special counsel Jack Smith on Friday. I was shocked by the degree of sensitivity of this document and how many there were, and I think the counts under the Espionage Act that he willfully retained those documents are solid counts, he said. If even half of it is true, then he is toast. It's a very detailed indictment and it's very damning. Battle planned for an attack on another country or documents about our capabilities are in no universe Donald Trump's personal document, Mr. Barr said. They are government documents. The 73-year-old was once one of Mr. Trump's staunchest allies, but has been increasingly critical of him since leaving office. So what do you think is going to happen there? This is Starr Radio UK, and this is the morning show, the Monday edition, of course. And a busy U.S. highway has collapsed after oil tanker blaze. Aerial images show the partial disintegration caused by an oil tanker that fire underneath the 1.95 highway, 1295 highway. So that's what is happening there, but it's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. And American financier George Soros has targeted by right-wing conspiracists is passing control of his foundation to his son. Well, what a good way to leave the scene. Yeah. All right then. Let's touch on a couple of stories and then we'll bring the stories to a close. The first part of the program to a close. I think mine. Yes. Okay. We'll see if HRH will be joining or not. But let's go on. We've got 10 minutes to get that. Now, Boris Johnson asked me to intervene in Anna's list, says Rishi Sunak. Now, Rishi Sunak has accused Boris Johnson of asking him to overrule a panel vetting his resignation list appointment to the House of Lords. The House of Lords Appointment Commission has confirmed it rejected 8 of the former Prime Minister's nomination. Mr. Sunak said Mr. Johnson asked him to override their recommendations or make promises to people, but he said he refused, adding it was something I wasn't prepared to do. I wasn't prepared to do that. I didn't think that it was right, and if people don't like that, then tough, he told a tech conference in London this morning. The intervention marks a new point in an escalating war of words over Mr. Johnson's controversial resignation Anna's list. Mr. Johnson announced he was quitting Parliament on Friday over a report from the Privileges Committee, who were investigating whether he had misled MPs about lockdown parties in Downing Street. It comes hours after Downing Street published his resignation Anna's list without the names of key supporters, including Nadine Dorries, Sir Alok Sharma, and Nigel Adams. All three had been expecting to be appointed to the House of Lords. Competing claims have now surfaced about how and why their names were removed. As departing Prime Minister, Mr. Johnson has the right to nominate people for seats in the House of Lords and for others honors such as knighthoods. But convention current prime ministers pass on their list of the nominees to Holak, which can recommend their names do not go forward after a vetting process. On Sunday, a spokesman of the vetting commission said he had rejected 8 of Mr. Johnson's nomination, but declined to name them or say why, adding it does not comment on individuals. Now, Downing Street has insisted that Mr. Sunak passed on Mr. Johnson's list of nominations unaltered. It said it also accepted Holak's full approved list and passed it on to the king. But on Monday, a source describing themselves as an ally of Mr. Johnson accused the Prime Minister of secretly blocking peerages for Nadine and others. He refused to ask for them to undergo basic checks that could have taken only a few weeks or even days, the sources added. That is how he kept them off the list without telling Boris. So he didn't come out straight to say, I'm not going to let them, but instead of them to go through the checks, he didn't let them go through the checks. So I think that is too late to do so. And then he's gone on to say, well, I wasn't prepared to do that, so we're not going to be giving them there. But what do you think about all that? Starr Radio UK. Now, First Minister Hamza Yusuf should consider suspending Nicola Sturgeon from the SNP if he refuses to resign, a former minister has said. The MSP, Ash Reagan, called for a decisive action after Ms. Sturgeon was arrested by the police and released without charge on Sunday as part of an investigation into SNP finances. The former party leader said she was innocent of any wrongdoing, as SNP spokesman has said the party was cooperating fully with the investigation. Now, Police Scotland is investigating what happened to £660,000 of donations given to the SNP by independence activists for use in the future independence referendum campaign. Now, Ms. Reagan, who quit as Community Safety Minister of the Gender Recognition Reform Bill and finished third in the SNP leadership contest, said Ms. Sturgeon should resign her party membership. There is precedence in the party for people involved in issues of this type to resign from the party voluntarily and suspend their membership until it is cleared up, she said. Now, why should she? After all, the police also didn't charge her, or is it that inquiries or investigations are still going on, and therefore as and when they find anything, then they're going to clamp down on her some more or re-arrest her? Well. What do you think? Should Nicola Sturgeon resign or not? Okay, one final story and then we'll bring the program to a close. An 11-year-old girl from a British family who was shot dead while playing on a swing in a garden in France has been named as Solène Thornton. The family were having a barbecue on Saturday evening when the shooting happened in the village of San Herbo, north of Quimper in Brittany. Her parents, Adrian and Rachel Thornton, were also hurt and are in hospital. Her father suffered serious injuries. Local media has reported the family were named by the mayor of the commune where the family lived, Marguerite Bluzin. The UK Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office said it was providing assistance to a British family. The girl and her 8-year-old sister were playing on a swing as their parents tended the barbecue when a neighbor began firing at them with a shotgun through a hedge. The younger girl ran to another neighbor's house to raise her alarm and is now said to be in shock. A local resident told French media that the younger children ran to the neighbors shouting, "My sister is dead, my sister is dead." The suspect, described as a 71-year-old Dutch national, reportedly shot himself in his house following the incident, but eventually surrendered to police and was arrested along with his wife. Locals said the man was something of a recluse who was in dispute with the British family over a plot of land adjoining the two properties. Oh my goodness. Well. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. And this is where I bring the program to a close. As they say, unfortunately, we won't have the one and only HRH this afternoon, but we'll just bring the program to a close by bringing you this tune from Ash, and she says what? No woman, no cry. So enjoy it, and I'll see you all tomorrow for the Tuesday edition of the morning show. God bless you, and it's been me, your one and only Archie, saying bye bye for now. Shalom.
No woman, no cry. No woman, no cry. Here, little darling, don't shed no tears. No woman, no cry.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Said I remember when we used to sing.
Thanks for listening.
In the government yard, entrenched out. About observing the hypocrites. Mingle with the good people with me. Good friends we have, and good friends we've lost along the way. In this great future, you can't forget your past. So dry your tears, I said. No man, no cry. No woman, no cry. Here, little darling, don't shed no tears. No woman, no cry. Said I remember when we used to sit in the government yard, entrenched out.
Hi, I'm Ada Williams and I'm an NHS pharmacist. Don't get caught out by COVID this summer. If you have only had one COVID-19 vaccination or haven't had one at all, you can still get your free vaccine until the 30th of June. Book your vaccine through the NHS app, online at nhs.uk/COVID vaccination, or call 119 for free.